Hey, in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 different tips that has allowed me and my students to ace the JMSS entrance exam. And at the end of it, I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip as well, because I think that that is probably one of the more important ones that a lot of people forget about. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. Now, the first tip is to create a reasonable study schedule. You're probably going to have a lot of homework and assignments from school and won't really have enough time to work on JMSS preparation. So this means that you have to be very smart and efficient with how you go about doing schoolwork. You can't just spend hours of your day doing school homework that doesn't really amount to anything. You can't be spending an entire weekend doing an assignment that could have taken maybe 2 hours tops. So you have to be very efficient with how you study. And you have to make sure that you're keeping up with all your other hobbies like sports, music, arts, and maintaining a good academic level. So creating a thorough study schedule is one of the best things you can do to help yourself prepare for the exam. And this could be as little as 30 minutes a day or as much as an hour to 2 hours a day, depending on your workload during the week. But getting a rough plan for it is one of the best things you can do to prepare for JMSS. The second tip I have is to review and learn from mistakes. When you're doing mock exams or practice questions, or maybe even going through textbook questions to prepare yourself for the entrance exam, a lot of people just do the question and they don't really check the answer. And this is one of the biggest things I see with a lot of students that come to me for tutoring, is that they're not sure exactly how to correct themselves and learn from their mistakes. The best students that I teach and the best students that get into JMSS and do very well academically are the ones that methodically go through their solutions and make sure that every single step that they do is correct. They're the ones that are obsessing over how to get a question done more efficiently. They're the ones that are analyzing their exam in just as much time as it takes to do the exam. So checking your working out is one of the best things you can do. And then when you notice a mistake, write it down. And make sure that you know how to solve that question next time. Because I'm going to guarantee, especially in mathematics, the mistakes that you think are silly mistakes are probably the ones that you keep making. So if you keep making a silly mistake, it's no longer a silly mistake, it's a pattern. So you have to sit and think, okay, how can I get rid of this error? How can I actually prevent myself from getting the question wrong next time? And once you do that, you're going to see your marks improve drastically. The third tip I have is to make sure you know the exam content and format. What are they going to be testing you on? What do you think they could be testing you on? Based off of what research you've done and the things that your teacher or tutor or booklet has said, what more can you actually get? How far in depth in knowledge do you need to actually go to? Understand the exam format, understand the conditions that you need to face, and once you do that, you should be in a much better position. This means understanding the exam overall view. How long do you have per question? What types of questions can they ask? What are they expecting you to do? Do they expect you to finish the whole exam? Are they expecting you to maybe do half the exam? And what are your own personal goals? Are you going in thinking, I'm going to get every single question right? Or are you thinking, I'm only going to focus on 75% of the exam and I'm going to focus on getting that 75%, 100% correct? So create your own goals and understand what way you're going to be attempting the exam. The fourth tip I have is probably the most important. It's to practice under timed conditions. A lot of people can do the entrance exam if they have an hour or two to do it. But you don't have an hour or two. You need to make sure that you're actually doing the questions under time conditions. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself thinking, that exam was super straightforward, super easy, but it's just the timing that got me. It's just the fact that if I had another 30 seconds to do a question, I would get it right. So a lot of people don't find the exam hard, they find the timing of it difficult. So you need to make sure that you're creating different methods, different routines, understanding different patterns to get the question right quickly. And the best way you can do this is to practice under time conditions. And the fifth tip that I had before I go into my bonus tip is to make sure that you're critically thinking and focusing on problem-solving skills. The entrance exam isn't just about what you know, it's about how you apply it. The questions that a lot of people get stumped on are the ones that are usually more wordy. They're the ones that require several layers of working out or several steps of thinking before you actually get to the final answer. So when you're doing your practice, make sure that you are practicing these problem solving skills and you're improving your problem solving ability. And this isn't just going to be helpful for JMSS, it's also going to be helpful in your schooling academics as well. Now, the last tip that I have that I think is probably the most important that a lot of people tend to skimp out on is to make sure that you're sticking with your hobbies. A lot of my students who tend to drop every other hobby they have, all their sports, all their music, all their arts, they tend to find the exam process a whole lot more stressful than the ones that are actually doing their sports, music, and arts and then doing JMSS entrance preparation on top of it, which I think is quite paradoxical because the ones that drop everything are the ones that have more time to actually do the preparation. But it turns out that doing these hobbies are great ways to relieve your stress. It's a great way to switch off your brain from exam preparation mode so that you're not only focusing on study. So make sure when you're doing your preparation that you're actually going through and thinking, okay, do I want to drop my hobbies? Do I not want to drop my hobbies? What hobbies are the most enjoyable for me? What do I find relieves my stress in the best way? And what do I find myself wanting to do when I want to wind down and I have some free time? So find yourself a good hobby if you don't have one already and really go through with it and don't just drop it for the sake of practicing JMSS preparation, because it's very paradoxical, I know, but a lot of students that do end up dropping their extracurriculars end up being way more stressed and not performing as well as they could have in the entrance exams. Anyway, that was really all I wanted to cover in this video. A nice quick one. That's it. That's the video. Don't comment, don't like, don't sub. Just log off and do something else now. See ya.